Now I'd like to introduce one of our newest scholarships, Taylor Black, who is a freshman in Orlando here at the University of Central Florida.
Before I begin, I would just like to say thank you to the American Cancer Society and all of you volunteers for helping me and so many other people in so many different ways. And also to my family, and without them, I probably wouldn't be here right now. Okay, today I'd like to tell you all a story of hope. Once upon a time, there was a young girl who was just as any other. She had long hair that flowed down her back and a healthy body. Her only worries consisted of algebra homework and planning the upcoming weekend. And she was content until one night when everything she knew and thought she was changed forever. "Mom, you're overreacting. My leg will be fine," she pleaded. "I don't like the look of it," her mother replied. "Let's take you to the hospital just to be sure." "But Mom, it's Friday night." "Well, then you better hurry if you want to go out with your friends." And so the young girl went to the hospital, convinced her mother's paranoia had no merit. After a while, a man came into the waiting room wearing a white coat. "All your tests are normal. We're just going to give you a CAT scan, and then you all can get out of here," he said. As the young girl headed to the room with the strange machine, all she could wonder was if she still had time to meet her friends, and she was thinking just how crazy her mother could be sometimes. After what seemed like hours of waiting, the doctor came in. "Maybe you should sit down," he warned them. "What is it?" her mother shakily questioned. The CAT scan revealed a large mass on her brain. She's going to need emergency surgery. The girl looked over at her mother, who looked as though she had just been hit by a speeding Mack truck. "This can't be true," she thought. "This happens to other people I don't know, not me." As the girl tried to process this life-altering news, a nurse came from behind with a wheelchair. "Sit down, honey," she said rather sorrowfully. "I'm going to take you to a room, and we're going to start you on steroids to prevent any swelling." Unable to think, the girl looked down at the chart in disbelief. Diagnosis: brain tumor? For the next few hours, the girl sat in the hospital bed stunned, not really knowing what to think, just wondering if any of this was real. After a while, her mother returned with a few of her things and one of her brothers. "Are you all right?" he said as he quickly came to her side. "I guess so," she numbly responded. "Do you want me to call your dad?" he asked in a rather scared way. "At this hour? Are you kidding me? That's the last thing I need to do. If he was awoken to this news, he'd surely have a heart attack, and I definitely do not need a dead father. No, I'll tell him in the morning." After the girl's brother left, she and her mother set up camp, finding relief only when their heads finally hit the pillows. As the girl awoke in the unfamiliar hospital room the next morning, one thought immediately consumed her. How would she tell her father? How do you tell a parent that their worst fear has become a reality? "Hey, what are you doing up so early?" her father cheerfully greeted her as she walked through the door. "Sit down for a second, Dad," she cautioned. "Is something wrong?" he asked, not wanting her to answer. As she explained to him all she knew about her current situation, she could see the light in his eyes disappear. And when she was finished, they both sat there bewildered, not knowing what to think. After a while, her father responded. "You can beat this," he said confidently. "I hope so," she silently thought. In the weeks that followed, the girl underwent emergency surgery and traveled to Duke University to ultimately be diagnosed with cerebral neuroblastoma, a malignant brain tumor. It looked bad, real bad. The young girl was worried and resentful. Why me, she thought. As she began chemotherapy, the fact that she would lose her hair soon came to fruition. Her long brown locks quickly gave way to a shiny bald head. It was then that it happened. Something inside the girl transformed, and she realized how thoroughly unimportant hair was. She gained a new perspective on life and a freedom others could only dream about. The chemo began to take its toll, weakening her body but never her spirit. There were still times when she would cry, but what 17-year-old girl wouldn't cry when faced with her own mortality? And when she was finished crying, she somehow knew that she was going to beat this disease. So she forged on through more chemo, surgeries, and radiation. She attended her high school prom, she graduated with her class, and with the help of the American Cancer Society, she went off to college. Now, nearly a year later, the young girl continues to fight, knowing that she will ultimately win. This girl's name is Taylor Black, and this girl is me.
Thank you, Taylor. We're not the only ones that have found her story inspiring. This fall, she'll be featured with Ed Bradley on CBS's 60 Minutes show.